The criteria for successful segmentation. So marketers segment the market for three important reasons. Number one, it enables them to identify groups of customers with similar needs and analyze those characteristics and the buying behavior of the various customers. It provides them with information to help design the 4P strategies, marketing mixes, that match what those segments desire. So you can develop for them a product that they like, that will satisfy that specific group's need at a price that specific group will pay, and you can make it available to them at a place where is convenient for them, and you can promote to them using communications that will relate to them. And it is of course consistent with the marketing concept, which is satisfying consumer needs and wants while meeting the firm's objectives. Market segmentation must produce segments that meet 4 criteria. This is very important. Number 1, it must be substantial. In other words, it must be big enough. The segment must be big enough. Number 2, it must be identifiable and measurable. Number 3, it must be accessible and not just a group of people that are on some random island stuck somewhere. They must be accessible. And they must be responsive. They must respond to different marketing mixes in different ways. But we're going to explain what all of these mean now. Okay, substantiality. A segment must be big enough to make investing in them profitable. If it's too small, it's not going to be worth our while to invest in that segment. This doesn't mean that it must have many customers. If you look at fancy cars, there aren't that many people in the world that buy fancy cars, but because fancy cars are so expensive, you can make a significant profit from them. Generally, there must, however, be quite a lot of customers in a segment to make it financially worth it. Okay, then identifiable and measurable. The segment must be identifiable and its size must be measurable. You must be able to measure the size of the market. Data on various segments is often available. For example, you can get census data, which helps markets determine the size of and location of segments. When marketers know the size of a market, they can target them quite accurately. If we know there are, so for example, because we know that how many students there are in the Western Cape and in the Eastern Cape, because we know how many matriculants usually matriculate every year, we kind of know at CPUT what the size of our potential market is, and so we can determine how many of those students would be likely to study marketing, and then we can target them effectively. And then accessibility. The firms must be able to reach the members of the segment with its marketing mix. Some segments are difficult to reach. For example, older people who can't hear very well, so they're not going to listen very well to adverts on TV because they can't hear. They might not be able to see the adverts or read your adverts in a magazine. And maybe those who don't understand English are also quite difficult to reach in South Africa. You have to create communication that is in their language if they don't speak English. So they're difficult to reach if you can't communicate with them. For example, how would a firm target the Khoisan that live in the desert? It would be very difficult because of their language and because of how isolated they are. And then responsive. Each segment must respond differently to a marketing mix when compared to other segments. If the segment does not react differently, then it does not have to be treated differently. Market segments must be what we call homogeneous within, but heterogeneous between. Now let's have a look. Okay, so the best way to look at this is by looking at fashion. So let's say we have some clothing right? Mr. Price for girls that are, let's say, 4 to 8. Then we have more clothes that's for girls, which are from 9 to 12. Again, we have clothing, different clothing for girls that are 13 to 15. And then again, we have clothing that's for girls from 16 to 18. Okay, let's just say. So now, what are these? These are different segments, right? Here's a segment, here's a segment, here's a segment, here's a segment. And for each of these, we're going to make a different marketing mix. Okay? We're going to have specific products for each of these. Specific clothing. At a specific price. It might be cheaper because it's less material. We're going to make it available in a specific place inside the store. Right? So there's going to be a specific area in the store that's for girls from age 4 to 8. And we're going to have a specific promotion. We're going to have a poster there. Right? We're going to have a poster up there saying, you know, come and buy your 4 to 8 clothing. And it's going to have a little girl there in the ad with, you know, a 4 to 8-year-old little girl. And she's going to be playing with maybe a Barbie doll, because that's what 4 to 8-year-olds do. I don't know. And so forth. Okay, we're going to have something similar for the girls from 9 to 12. We're going to have special products for them. Special dresses and things at a specific prices. And we're going to have it at a specific place inside the shop. They're going to have their own little section there. And we're going to promote to them in a specific way. So we might have an ad there with 2 girls, right, that are aged 9 to 12. And they're going to be listening to music somewhere, right? And then we're going to have another section for 13 to 15s. We're going to have products, and we're going to have specific prices at a specific place inside the shop, and we're going to also have a promote them in a specific way. And these girls are going to be out at the mall together. Alright, 3 of them out at the mall together, and again we're going to have another one for different marketing mix for the 16 to 18s. Okay, and these ones are going to be out, but they're not just going to be out with their friends. They're going to be girls, but then there's also going to be a boy next to them, right? Like a boyfriend type thing. And there's going to be two couples, a girl and a boy. Okay. So now, these are different segments that Mr. Price is targeting in different ways. As you can see, they're developing entirely different marketing mixes for each segment, which is requiring quite a lot of money and effort and resources to be placed into each segment, right? Because you have to have different products, you have to have different promotional material, you have to have a different place in your store, and so forth. Now, the reason they have different segments is because each group of girls responds differently. This group responds differently to this group. This group responds differently to this group. And of course, this group responds differently to this group. But then what they begin to find at one point is that this group over here, they don't buy the clothing that is designed for 13 to 15 year olds. Instead, they're buying the clothing that's designed for 16 to 18 year olds. And what you begin to find is that these products are not being bought very much, but these products are being bought all the time. Because the 13 to 15 year olds want to be like the 16 to 18 year olds. So now let me ask you this question. If the 13 to 15s are buying the products of the 16 to 18s, do we need to have products then for the 13 to 15-year-olds? No. Why? Because they're not responding any differently to the 16 to 18-year-olds. They are not responding differently. In other words, they're not responsive. This segment is unresponsive, which means that we do not need to have a separate segment for 13 to 15-year-olds with different prices and different products and different place in the store and different ads, right? So we can completely cut out this segment because we don't need them. Why? Because this segment doesn't respond. It doesn't stand up to the 4 criteria. It doesn't meet the 4 criteria. It might be substantial enough. There might be enough 13 to 15-year-olds. You might be able to identify them and measure them, exactly how many there are, right? But the problem is that they don't respond differently. So you simply cut them out, and you have one segment here which you call, I guess you can call it the 13 to 18-year-olds. And they have the same products, same price, place, and promotion, and then you will only have 3 segments. So that is how the responsive criteria works. Okay, now let's look at a cat milk example. For example, despite the belief that cats love milk, adult cats are actually lactose intolerant, so they can't actually digest cow's milk. They can suffer from severe abdominal pain and diarrhea if milk is fed to them. Therefore, Martin & Martin, South Africa's leading pet healthcare brand, like you can see over there, developed the first lactose-reduced milk for cats. They believe that owners of such cats will respond to their lactose-free marketing mix, and also believe that the market is large enough to be profitable. Okay, so they have determined that this is a good segment. They've looked at all 4 of the criteria, right? That it's substantial enough, it's identifiable and measurable, and it's responsive. It's going to respond differently. They're going to respond differently, and obviously that they are also accessible, that they'll be able to access them, because mostly these people will be living probably in cities or in towns where they can keep cats. And there's another example, that's the Whiskers version of cat milk.